Thank you.
We are calling the Human Services Commission of Wednesday, April 19th to order. And we have quorum.
Okay. Yes, we have quorum. We have Maury, who will be excused absent this evening, and Jaime is not here quite yet.
Okay, great. And let me see, the next order of business is public comments, and I understand that Mr. Bello doesn't have a public comment. Did anybody write in, or are you aware of any other public comments?
There are no other public comment, and we have one attendee, like you mentioned, in attendance virtually, but not in person. And we also have another staff member here from our IT. Do you want to make a public comment? I'll mention that, but other than that.
Okay, well, let's move on to the approval of minutes, which seems so far long ago. Okay, so we've got two sets, February 15th, and then our joint session on March 15th. And why doesn't somebody make a motion to approve them together?
I noticed in the March minutes, I noticed one mistake in the attendees. So do we discuss that after it's been approved? So,
No, before.
okay, so Kelly Munn wasn't, because I know her because she's a friend of mine.
Okay.
She wasn't at the joint meeting.
Absent. Thank you for that. We can make that correction.
Okay. And beyond that, I would move that we approve the March minutes of the joint meeting. 2nd of March.
Okay, we will deem them approved unless anybody says they have an objection. And what about the February 15th?
I would move that we approve the February minutes, the meeting minutes from our meeting of February 15th. Second.
Okay, and I'll deem them approved unless anybody has an objection. Okay, moving on to the agenda items. And the first one is presented by Hannah, right?
We can skip it if you don't mind, and we can switch to the next one, which is mine, and then when Hannah returns, then we can start with that.
Sounds great. So the emergency housing program pilot update. Great.
Yes. Thank you so much. Just wanted to bring a brief update to you as a commission on where we are with the emergency housing pilot project. As you may recall, last fall, City Council approved budgets for a pilot program in collaboration with Motel 6 to serve youth members who are housed in Issaquah. And so that program has two components. On one side, there's the collaboration and the leasing part with Motel 6. And the second is the operation of the emergency housing program. We issued two requests for proposals, RFPs, to identify a social service partner for that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find anyone. Nonprofit organizations are very supportive of the program. However, they don't have the staffing capacity. Many of the organizations are going through senior leadership changes. So really, we're not able to find someone. So at this point, we are proposing to bring the operations of the program in-house at the city, and we are proposing to hire a few limited term positions for the pilot for the remaining of the time for this year and next year. That proposal is going to City Council next week for discussion, and then hopefully for formal approval in a couple of weeks. And so with that, and trying to speed up the process as we are now delayed, we are hoping to start the project and actually at the end of the first quarter of this year. So we're hoping to start the project by now. Since we are delayed, we started the hiring process, hoping that we will obtain council approval. So we are going a little bit in parallel with that process, but we are excited. We got some great candidates so far. So as long as hopefully City Council is open to our idea, then we hope that we can move forward with hiring some staff and maybe even have a soft launch so we are doing things so well.
So you've already got, possible candidates, even though it hasn't gone before council yet.
Yeah, so we were trying just to speed up the process to do
Sure.
some prep work since
Yeah,
it takes
that's
such a long
wonderful.
time. But we are aware that we are, like, that's why we are not hiring anyone until we have approval, but there's also a chance that if we don't have approval, we just did that work, but at least, we tried, so.
That's great, and you can tell council that you've got candidates in the queue.
Well, we don't want to do that, right, because we don't want to.
Jeopardize anything, yeah.
But yeah, we are trying our best to speed up the process and do whatever we can to still continue with the program because we believe the program can be very successful and it's very important, so we want to try it.
Thank you.
So that's the update. I don't know if you have any questions or happy to answer.
I'm happy to hear that you have some candidates that you're getting a little bit more interest in the position now that you've rejiggered it a little bit.
I think people are interested, especially I think a city job is more appealing to many a government job than a nonprofit job, especially in this market where cost of living is so expensive. So I think that's what.
And if I understand well, it will be shorter, limited term, right, in the city, and even with that, we still have candidates.
That's what we've done at Snohomish County. Usually we contract with a lot of nonprofit folks, and I think hired 3 or 4 from. They kind of get a little not upset, but they're kind of like joking around, like we just took some of your talent,
Yeah.
and then it kind of puts us in a weird position. But yeah, it's definitely do that practice.
It's hard because I think especially in Washington State, the difference between paying nonprofit and for-profit is just so high.
And that's after nonprofits have done a lot of work to try and make their compensation more competitive.
But it's hard to keep up with the very high tech companies here that do very well. In other states, I remember I lived in Midwest for a while, and really the difference between for-profit and nonprofit was hardly like a couple of dollars difference. So
Wow.
it wasn't, people were, there wasn't much difference this year. But also cost of living.
That's true.
Which council meeting do you think it'll go for?
So we are going first this coming Monday for the first time to start the conversation of the committee of the whole meeting on Monday. And then hopefully after that, in May, we'll go to a regular council meeting for approval. Right. Thank you for those questions. Any other questions or comments or not?
Does the council already know that it's from a volunteer to set?
But they're going now, on Monday, we are going to first off with them formally.
This is the first time.
Yes, it's gonna be the first time they will. So you here before city council. Well, usually you come and you provide recommendations to city council, right? So yeah, even in this case, if like, for example, you as a commission, you are not supportive of this, we would want to hear, although please be supportive.
I think, ideally it would have been great to have a nonprofit organization. We have many that we work really well with and would be able to implement the program very strongly. It's just, as you all know, everyone's really short-staffed in that capacity, and that was unfortunate to not have any applicants. So hopefully this can be a good resolution for a great community group here.
And I don't want to drag this out much longer, but I'm sure that the committee that you go before will have questions about the safety issue.
Yeah, that's a good point, probably, yes. So yes, we are working with the politics on that, working with legal counsel in making sure contractual agreements, and also we are in close collaboration with the Issaquah Police Department. And I think again, security, they have been working with local six on security and ensuring that there's additional patrol in the area.
everybody knows what we're referring to.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, in this time and age, it doesn't seem like any place is safe for them. Others, schools, to churches, to parks, to restaurants, to golf, to everything.
Yeah, I mentioned this last time. I'm trying to get better about Human Services Commission because we're always saying that. Is, unfortunately, is that legal system, and most of the time, most folks have been criminalized for stuff like that. They'd be in the system, and so out of sight, out of mind. However, given our equity concerns and issues, and trying to do best for our community, they're not being put away. They're forcing. I don't say forcing. I think it's an opportunity to how we help our community. So you're seeing it now firsthand, from mental health, homelessness, behavioral health, addiction, co-occurring, racism. So now you're seeing the front end is how we can help and assist our community. So it's, I think, I don't say it's testing. I think it's building upon the capacities that we have, infrastructure-wise, to help our human beings do a lot better. It's in our juvenile systems. They're not locking kids up. There's a ruling 7.16 from Supreme Court that addresses stuff like that. That's not just something that we're just making up in the city of Issaquah. It's all the way to the top from our Supreme Court judges that, now the question is always, is it attached with funding?
Right.
That's always
Yeah.
the attachment to it is there's legislation, there's law, and now it's the conversation is a municipal thing, is it a county thing, is it state, is it federal, to draw up on funds and resources for under services for such as mental health, homelessness, and so forth. So I think it's an opportunity. That's just the way I look at it. I think instead of having folks being locked up, is now is a chance to help folks in our community. So I try to push that narrative. So because in the past it'd be like you would never see this much to be in jail, and now so.
But also, it's I don't know, and thank you for that. Absolutely. I think society, especially over the last few years, I'm not sure if it's COVID related, all the uncertainty, so many things happening that everybody seems so much more on the edge.
Right.
Even those who don't have any history of, legal problems, they are still on edge. Just as we are talking about the shooter that we had at Motel 6 had no criminal history, nothing. It was just like the first snap. Nothing in their history would have predicted.
One of the employees is now permanently paralyzed.
I'm sorry.
And my converter was stolen twice.
What?
My Cadillac converter was stolen twice, right in front. And the second time I was able to actually see the people cut it up and leave, and so I was like, my fiance's like, you seem pretty. I was like, where we're at right now, it's not. So I definitely, when I was talking to law enforcement folks, they're like, what's that right now? There was a bill that got passed this year around finding more of the folks taking in the converters versus the actually converters.
The people that are actually.
Yeah, it's
paying
actually
for the
people that are
converters,
paying,
yeah.
so they're getting more hit with felonies and fines and so forth. But I'm not gonna lie, to this day I still can't sleep right. I'm like, every time I hear the noise, I'm like, is that my converter? So
Anyway, thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the emergency housing program. And then, we switched
Sorry,
topics,
I
so-
appreciate that. Sorry. I'll let you transition after. I messed up our order.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so do you want to, we'll go to agenda item 4A, community partner visit update.
All right. Okay, so I'm excited to talk to everyone here about our community partner site visit. And so really tonight, a couple things that I'm hoping to accomplish is to provide an update of the events that are coming up and the site visits that we're talking about. I also would like to achieve a few goals, talking about which commissioners will be attending and maybe having a lead commissioner for each site visit, which we'll go in more detail about. However, I just want to step back really quickly before I dive into the details of this document here that we provided in our agenda, where I want to just talk a little bit about why are we doing this? What is the purpose? What's the bigger picture here? And so really the role of Human Services Commission, one of the biggest tasks that our volunteer commission members are given is trying to make the very difficult decision of our human services grant funding, making those allocation decisions, which you all did a wonderful, amazing job of. And now this is what we kind of consider our off year. So what do we do during this time? A big goal and initiative that we think is important for our commissioners to do is learn a little bit more about our nonprofit. Let's follow the dollars, right? And see what are those dollars doing? How is it impacting our community? Who are the staff members? Who are the organization? What are the programs that are being funded by Issaquah? And what kind of impact are they making into our community? One of the things in thinking about human services that I think is really important to everyone here, as well as us as staff, is relationships. And part of that relationship building is meeting with people there, whether it's the participants, whether it's the staff, whether it's the executive director. Building those relationships, I think, is so key to humanizing what we are doing and to really get a better understanding of what's going on out there. So with that, this year we are looking at different opportunities to do site visits. And in that, there's a couple different ways we want to go about it. We're thinking of looking at different events that our organizations are having and to invite the commission as well as the public or participants. So you can see firsthand, it could be possibly a reflection of what and who they are. And I believe your February meeting, I think I was still on maternity leave, it was decided to really prioritize first our cultural specific organizations to get to know better. And so I pretty much just stepped in from there and then took it from where it was left off in February and contacted those organizations where we prioritized the ones that had 2 or more commissioners who signed up for these visits. And then I contacted their staff to see if they had anything coming up. So this evening, I just really want to kind of go in a little more detail and have a discussion of these organizations, provide an update on the events or the site visits, and then really determine if there are more commissioners that are able and interested in attending. And also, I would like to assign a lead commissioner. So what a lead commissioner means is I would love to see somebody step up and basically be the main point of contact. So I'll provide a warm handoff once we've determined the plan moving forward. So I'll leave that to the lead to have that further communication. And then also I'd love for the lead to be able to present to the commission as a whole of what did they learn, what did they see, what's important for the rest of the commission to know about their visit. And so I'd love to determine that tonight if possible. And a couple of things that I want to note in discussing this is we want to be sensitive of not meeting quorum in these visits, so that will possibly limit some of these visits, which we'll talk about more specifically. And then the other thing is for next steps, once we kind of solidify the plan for here, Human Service Commission, we'd love to invite the equity board as well to some of these events or site visits, maybe not these ones, but maybe other ones too, to move forward with more site visits. So I'm going to pause there for a second. A lot of information. Before we go into the details of the report, any questions, thoughts?
Go ahead.
My question, question. So I wasn't sure because my term is done now, whether or not I should sign. That's why I have not signed.
Great point. Yeah, you are fine. You do not have any obligation to attending, but as we talk and learn more about these events, there might be a few that you might be interested in attending as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that can be your decision. Yeah, thank you.
Madeline Fish, can you talk more about quorum? So, or is it not appropriate to do site visits unless there's a quorum? Or,
Well, the rule of quorum, and Monica, you can jump in, but I'm gonna give it a go here. So the rule of quorum is, we have to be sensitive as a public entity that represents the city. If we have a quorum, then it has to be a public. We need to inform the
got it.
public that there is a human services commission event. So we have to be
Okay.
sensitive that we're keeping an eye on the number of commissioners that are attending these visits, as well as the topics that are being discussed. And so if it's a human service related topic with 4 or more commissioners, then that's considered to have a need to be the public notified.
got it.
I think you're right, yes.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
The exception is if you all want to go out for some drinks or a social event where you commit not to talk about human services related, aspects, then you can go and.
So we
have
can talk
a
about
forum.
you and Hannah, but we can't talk about.
You can talk about my gray hair.
Which is lovely.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so then that's why I think even right before Hannah returned from maternity leave, when we created the sign up, if you remember, I just created 3
yes,
columns, maximum 3
Yep,
commissioners could
okay.
sign up for one site visit.
I will remind you.
I knew someone.
I'll tell you where and what to do. Okay, great. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Okay, so I have the sheet. I don't know if you all have it in front of you or not. I'll just go through it. But there are a few organizations here that were listed that I did not get in contact with, and so you'll see it's a TBD. Sorry, I should have printed these ones, but I didn't.
Kristen, do you want to come have a look, or you okay? Okay.
Okay, so a few updates. I'm just gonna go list by list and then just pause me if you have any questions. So our first one here is our Chinese, sorry, good. Oh, no, you're
They
fine.
don't have it, right? I can consider sharing it on
I
the
can
screen
share it.
there.
Yes, that's a good idea. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Beautiful.
Thank you. We love it.
This is gonna take a little bit longer. I'm not gonna just- sorry.
Oh, no, this is the. Oh, this is the. This is the.
All right. You know what? Thank you all for your patience. Having technical difficulties with my team. Oh, sure. Why we have a huge screen. We can share all this stuff.
Hannah, you just popped up, so I wonder if you're connected now. Oh. There you go. Well done.
Oh, Monica, the rest of it. Thank you. Had a feeling I should have worn glasses.
If you don't compare class with it.
Black glass.
Look at that. There we go. Whoa, whoa,
No
whoa.
control, my bad.
There
Okay.
you
Is
go.
that
That's
enough?
nice. Yeah, that's good.
Yay. Okay, perfect. All right, so moving forward with this, so just a quick update, we have Chinese Information Service Center. This one actually we just had one commissioner sign up for, but they didn't have any events that they thought would be worth having commissioners come so far, but they are looking at their calendar, talking to staff. So I'm hoping to have some more information about some of their services. Otherwise, we'll consider moving forward with an on-site visit. The next one that we have signed up for is our Indian American Community Services Program. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, or actually that's fine, sorry.
What about Essentials First World Food
Oh,
Program?
sure. So Essential First, that's a program that we do not fund.
Oh, okay.
And there was actually no commissioners who signed up for
Okay.
that one. If that's something that, commissioners are interested in doing, our next round of site visits.
And commissioners, I want to clarify, and this was before you
Oh,
came back
sure.
in. I added the Essential First to the potential of site visits. They were part of the cultural organizations, but we did not get them funded. So I thought that if there's interest in that, there might be a good opportunity to learn more about the organization. And especially, this was one of the organizations that provided us feedback after the grant review application, and they wanted to understand more on why they did not receive the funding. So again, if there's an opportunity and interest in visiting them to even just learn more about them as an organization, I think it would be valuable to visit not just those that funded, but also.
So I see that there, we don't have a list of who signed up for.
Actually, if you scroll down, it is, some of them do have names associated with them. Where did I see that?
Yeah, so if you'll scroll down, Monica, we'll show you here just so you have visual, and then actually going. It's another document basically right after this.
Oh, it's another document.
Okay.
So here you'll see I have the, it's a link to their website, the event or site visit that they talked about. I have the current commissioners who are signed up, and what are our next steps really. So that's our goals for tonight, is to determine a few things for each visit.
So it sounds like, should I remain here?
Yeah.
It sounds like Indian American Services is the first organization where you have commissioners signed up.
Yeah, so that would be good.
So now I have to take my name off of that because I'll be gone.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So first off, I want to just explain, so the Indian American Community Services, they are really good at having pop-up sites around each side. And one of their pop-up sites, they said the closest one is in Bellevue for Issaquah. So it's the North Bellevue site where they provide their services. They do this every Thursday, and they offer the best dates for them would be May 11th or May 18th. They offer their services between 11 and 1, so we can just work on kind of nailing down maybe an hour or so for our site visit there. So our current commissioners is Madeline, which we will also maybe we can find a different replacement. And then we have Maury and then Manny.
And with that, commissioners, you don't need to necessarily have 3 commissioners. You can have 1, 2, or 3. Just don't have more than 3 and no less than 1.
Yeah.
And I think it's always, like, from past experience, it's always nice to have a team buddy, team member.
Yeah, it's nice to go
with and go along.
I will kind of pause here before, and I realize we'll talk more about this later in our meeting, but we are having new commissioners join us next month. So there are a few events that I would also like to give them an opportunity to join. So we'll just keep that in mind as well.
For that, it would be also a great opportunity.
Sure.
Existing commissioners.
Yeah.
Commissioners.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this one's not really fair, Manny, because you're the only one here. So we can assign. Well, actually, Mari, I just realized he's out of town. For this one.
For both the 11th and the 18th.
So yeah, so we'll make sure that we have enough. I forget the dates exactly. So maybe Manny, I can talk to Maury and double check to see. Are there any other commissioners who are interested in participating in this one? And again, we have 4 other commissioners that we can talk to as well. If they want to go. And then, Manny, is there a better day or time for you on the 11th or 18th?
Yeah, I'm open. Second.
And then either time 11, doing like an 11, 12, or 1, or 11 or 12.
If there's someone else that wants to go also, work on their schedule.
Okay.
Rub it in.
Enjoy the good life.
Rub it in. I might start whistling in your.
Okay, perfect. All right, well then let's move on. Our next one is, our Issaquah Cultural Circle. So this one is a really exciting event that I'm gonna say would be wonderful if, most commissioners are able to attend. They are celebrating their new space, which is here in Issaquah, Gilman Boulevard. They are an organization, they used to be known as, I'm so spacing on their name,
The Latino Club.
the Latino Club, but they have recently changed their name to the Issaquah Cultural Circle. They applied with that name, but they came to I think Monica a few years ago as a grassroots organization. So now they've really grown.
Good for them.
Mhm.
Yeah, they came to the city, not to Monica, but I take the honor.
Sorry, I talked to Monica. That's who when it was just you, I mean. That's how long ago it was.
So yes, some of you, well, was there anyone here? I don't think so. Trish, you were not. I don't think we had any commissioners fund 2 cycles ago. We piloted in an effort in trying to provide an alternative and provide some more equitable access for smaller nonprofits. We created a grassroots grants in addition to our traditional grants. And so with that, they were funded through the grassroots grants, and that initial grant helped them create their own 501c3. And now for the first time, they have an actual office space. So it's really nice to see the organization grow from a couple of volunteers to an actual organization.
Yeah.
One volunteer doing everything.
Yes.
Two more.
More volunteers doing everything, but it's really has been really nice. Good evening, Councilmember Joe. Welcome. Yeah. So they have an open house. And their office space, they have now an office space on Gilman, so
Yeah, and
they invited.
I was just gonna say, y'all know it's not easy a task to accomplish of getting real estate or a rental space like this. So it's wonderful to see some more in-person organizations. So so their event is coming up on Friday, May 5th. It's an open house. Everyone's invited, the community members. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for commissioners to, at your own leisure, so we're one, not meeting quorum, but two, just the event goes from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. So the full fun day event to meet some wonderful staff and just see the services that they're providing. And if you have not had a chance yet, you should check out their website. They recently had a new website. And again, this is an organization that has really just grown, and we get to see a local Issaquah organization. So really excited for their services.
And you guys, it's Cinco de Mayo.
It is.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
I would have loved it.
Although to be fair,
Yeah.
our Mexican community members, they have been telling us and providing feedback that that's not their
That's not their
holiday.
holiday, right?
It's an American
American
holiday.
Yeah.
So they really don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo. They told us that fairly. But the organization does provide great, they work with a lot of families in the Issaquah School District, especially those who don't speak English, and they provide a lot of connection and resources, cultural navigation, service navigation. A lot of great work.
And so I just wanted to check, okay, you're saying you're hoping as many commissioners can go as possible, but we can't be a quorum.
Yeah.
So if more than 3 commissioners want to go, do we have to plan that to be there at the same time?
Ideally, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
we just won't tell
You know,
I'm gonna be gone again,
Yeah,
so.
I will tell you,
them.
it
We're
is.
just a council member.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so what I was just gonna say is, it's a full day event, it actually could be a great opportunity for potentially some commissioners, if you're open to, meet with one of the new commissioners. It would be before our official commission meeting. So,
Oh, I think it would be wonderful to give them an opportunity, the new commissioners,
Oh, yeah,
to
definitely.
go to this.
Yeah, oh, and again, everyone can go, like, you can go in a pair or something like that too,
Right.
so, yeah, it's a small office, I don't think the open house is gonna, you're gonna be there for very long, I wouldn't imagine. Maybe 30 minutes for the open house event, but they'll have some snacks and, some staff and have, their information up with. So I think that's one of our best events to kind of get an actual view of their office and really highlight the work that they're doing. So we currently have Madeline and Trish interested in this. Is there anybody, but it sounds like Madeline.
I know I have to take my name off
Okay,
again.
yep, you're gonna be gone, no problem. Love to travel.
Well, I'll go.
Oh, good.
Thanks, thanks, I appreciate
I
that.
may stepping in, all right. Go for it.
So I'm just wondering, what are the responsibilities of a commissioner when they go? If it's open house, do we mention that we're a commissioner, or do we just wander around and talk to someone every?
Yeah, so I will be providing a warm handoff email. And so that way they at least know that we have some commissioners coming. Maybe we can solidify a time, so that way they know at least they can meet a couple of the commissioners. So if, the two, right now I currently have Trish and Jaime scheduled, so we can schedule that and then other commissioners can go. But I'll provide a warm handoff. I think it'd be great if you introduce yourself as commissioners and,
Sign or?
yeah, exactly. Put on your hat.
You're gonna get assigned t-shirts too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And actually, that's a good point, you, there are name tags with your name and commissioner that, we need to order for you.
So?
Yes,
Yes, you were right. Yes, we'll make you more.
because you're representing this commitment.
Does that make sense? Any other questions with that?
Get our own. Ask for
Anybody available and interested in going? And again, we'll invite some other commissioners. You folks and Lori, please. All right, Jaime or Trish, does either one of you want to take lead?
Why don't you, honey?
Sure.
Sure. Okay, wonderful. So you'll do a report out to the rest of the commission.
I know you're shy.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, and Jaime, since it's on the 5th and we're meeting on the 17th, do you think they'll be prepared to do a presentation, just like a 5-minute spiel? Yeah, for that commission meeting. Perfect. Okay, all right, so moving on then, our next site visit that is our Issaquah Schools Foundation, our cultural bridges. So this one was, there's a couple different options here, and so I want to have a conversation about this one. And as you can see here, I really did highlight this event. I went back and forth if I should include it or not, but I ultimately feel like this event is a great opportunity to connect with community partners and really get a better understanding of what the Issaquah Schools Foundation and their Cultural Bridges program does, because this program is designed to get an opportunity to hear students' success stories. And I just think that was just so valuable and would be so interesting that I did put it on there with the caveat of this is a fundraiser event. And in that, I do not want anyone to feel like they should or need to provide funding or provide any sort of payment. So I did want to present it today to have that conversation and discussion if there is an interest, but also note that there are another option to do a site visit at a later date. I believe their executive director is out for a little while, so it will probably be later in the summer. So just wanted to have just like an open conversation about the thoughts on this event.
Well, okay, you go ahead.
I'm already registered to go.
Okay, I just
So-
wanted to say, okay,
So-
I was told by a school board director that Cultural Bridges is no longer with the foundation. It got absorbed by the school district. So, I mean, that doesn't take away from this event at all.
No.
But I was told, yeah,
Oh, and I'm sorry, I misspoke. I had moved ahead to the Nourish Every Mind showcase on the 27th. I'm sorry.
they no longer have voice and they no longer have Cultural Bridges. Foundation. But just as
Gotcha. That's good to know.
Yeah.
That is good.
I would probably not choose to use this opportunity to learn more about the foundation. I've been to these luncheons before,
Okay.
and I might still just go to the luncheon anyways.
Yeah, it's at our community center, and it is coming up on April 27th.
Yeah.
But from your experience, you think that there's a different opportunity to do a site visit?
It's very focused on fundraising.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for that, because I was not aware of that when talking to you there. I knew it was a fundraiser, and I got different perspectives of the opportunities there, so.
And it might be, for somebody that doesn't know anything about the foundation, it might be a nice introduction.
I'd like to go and wear my name tag, just so people understand that there is a connection.
I
So-
love that.
I'll stop by and,
And you said you're already registered for this
yeah,
event?
for the luncheon
For the lunch.
on the
Right,
27th,
right.
yes,
That's what I have here. It's
yeah,
It's the 2023 Nourish Every Mind Student Show.
yes, yes.
Yes. And that's right. Registration is required. It's at no cost. There is a light lunch provided. They will be asking for money, but there is absolutely no expectation and a need or to extra money.
It sounds like it's a better opportunity for commission for the purpose of what you're trying to do with site visit is to schedule a separate meeting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rather than going to a fundraiser.
Yes, I agree.
That would be
Yeah.
my recommendation.
That's wonderful. And Madeline, do you mind though reporting to us a little bit about, since you're already registered, just.
No,
so
not at
we
all.
can learn a
Not
little
at all.
bit from that. And then I'll follow up then with their director to figure out a different site visit.
Okay.
So that sounds good. And then, so Madeline, you'll probably, you're not gonna be here at the next session, so
No, but I could, maybe, I was thinking I could just
send me.
submit a written report.
Also June is,
Yeah.
Wait till June.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. This is gonna be an ongoing, time to report out, so, okay, perfect. I appreciate the feedback everyone on that. Okay, then moving down the list. So I'll just note here, Kin on Healthcare is another organization, that was on our list, but not funded by Human Services Grant. Was there anything you wanted to say?
No, other than just, again, as we have new commissioners and later in the year, I think it's an opportunity to learn about both organizations that we fund and those that we did not fund. I think especially focusing on those cultural based ones. That would be great to consider that.
So this time,
I was gonna say, I just Googled cultural bridges and it still says part of, Issaquah Schools Foundation. So,
Yeah.
We'll check in with them, but they didn't let us know, they didn't inform us, so we'll check in with them and follow up and see. I know that they have been through a lot of changes recently.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was talking to Maureen Morel, though. She was the one that told me.
We'll learn more of them.
Did you want to say something?
I was wondering, so are we scheduling something for the I think it's MCRC?
Mhm.
We are?
Oh, so Max, MCRC, so I was just about to kind of touch base on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Good, good.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Maps, MCRC, there are a few programs that we fund for their organization. They're located in Redmond. So, we have two options here that we were invited to. So, they are more than welcome and happy to invite commission into their offices to schedule a tour. So we can certainly do that, but there is an event coming up if you were wanting to see more kind of them in action. And they have a health fair. This is their community health fair. It's hosted by MAPS MCRC, and they're also partnering with the Iraqi Arab Health Board. So the event's on the 13th, and it's going to be in Redmond. And I was reading up on this event. It looks like a really cool health fair that they're providing. That's very family friendly. They're gonna have like bouncy houses and like medical shaped bouncy houses. I know. And they'll have a dentist there. They'll have cancer screening. They'll have flu shots. They'll have COVID shots.
Wow.
One thing that I'm like really impressed with is they'll have a veterinarian. So providing those services are very difficult for clients to find affordable vet care. So they'll have something there. So.
No, I just wanted to mention for anyone who may not be as familiar as all of you with MCRC, because I know we also have guests tonight. MCRC stands for American Cancer Center. They have been a great partner with the city, serving them as
Thank you, I appreciate that. So wanted to have that discussion as well. Is the health fair something that you'd be interested in doing for an event? Or would you all be more interested in doing a site visit? Where you get to actually just kind of have one-on-one time with the staff members? Or even both?
I would be willing to do it, but
I would too.
Okay. So that one I do have Madeline and Trish, but Madeline is out of town.
I'm sorry, I signed up for these things before
You
you
didn't
knew
know.
that
All
things
good.
were scheduled, yeah.
All good. Well, then that just puts Trish right now. So I'd love to have somebody else there with Trish. I know we have Maury who actually needs to for sure get out of town that day. And Pat, you're interested? Wonderful. Good. And then
You're not out of town.
no, I check my calendar.
yeah, that's a
You're the
miracle.
one traveling the most.
For once I'm here.
And then Tricia, would you mind being the lead on that
Sure,
one?
sure.
So you can do the report out. That would be great. So then you'll actually will do your report out for that, for May's meeting.
Sure.
Okay, great. And then I'll follow up as well. And maybe we can give an opportunity for our new commissioners to join us for like a tour. Is that okay, Pat, too? Would you want to join for a later date tour possibly? Perfect. Okay, wonderful. And then the last update on this topic is Mission Africa. They are a new organization with human services grants. And I've really enjoyed my interactions with them so far. I sent them an email and I said, hey, our commissioners would love to, get to know you and your organization. They're like, great, this Saturday we're having this event. I was like, very nice, thank you, but too quick of a turnaround for the way that we.
So wait, like this weekend?
No, it was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
It was just like 3 days. I know. It was very, very appreciative, but then they are they're in Africa. They're doing their annual mission trip there. So they come back, I think, late April. So I will be reconnecting with them when they get back.
Where are they going at?
Nigeria. I know. Yes. So I'm really excited to learn more about their organization and get more connected with them. So more to come on that one. So I just want to provide that update. So those are our site visits that we have coming up. I will follow up some next steps and some more handoffs for that.
So why don't you add my name to Mission Africa, and depending on how that works out,
Sure.
maybe since the schedule right now isn't a very good fit for me with some of the other organizations.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Appreciate that.
And that can be standby just in case we get that through.
Okay, perfect. Anyone. So, all right. So next steps then with that is I will do some follow up with form handoff emails to start that conversation, and then work on scheduling a few site visits. Actually. So, perfect. Looking forward to that. And then I think the last thing on this is as we are looking ahead at the calendar with site visits, are there any other priority areas, Commission, that you'd be interested in us looking at to do site visits for? And I'm sorry if I did miss that conversation earlier on, if there's a second phase.
I think the first, we just, I think we decided on focusing just on cultural-based organizations, because I think as a commission, we said that we found way too many organizations to be able to visit them in 1 year. And if we just visit a few here and there in different sections, then at the next funding cycle, we are going to be, especially commissioners, are going to have a hard time being fair with everyone because they're going to know some information about. So that's why we decided then to visit all the organizations in one area, and so the cultural-based ones were selected. We can certainly come back and reconsider in a few months, but I think that's the challenge. We either visit them all, at least in one section or two sections, or
That seems like a thoughtful way to try and, yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So then, I guess my question is, are commissioners interested in doing site visits then to our 2 organizations that we are not funding, but were included on the list? So that's Essential First and I can revisit this question when we have with the new members.
That's just revisit that.
Sounds good. We'll do that. All right, more to come on that then. Looking forward to it. Thank you, commissioners. Back to you, Trish.
Let me see. Okay, now we're down to reports. And Monica is going to give us a staff report.
Great, thank you so much, commissioners. This is Monica. So typically I cover updates from mayor and city council. And actually we have Councilmember Joe in attendance. Thank you for being here. So a couple of updates from this past month on city council's agenda related to human services. In March, right after the Human Services Commission meeting, we went and we sought approval from city council for one-time funding allocation for emergency rental assistance. As you recall, we have talked about that. So we are very fortunate city council approved one-time allocation of $200,000. And we utilized the affordable housing sales tax dollars for that. We distributed those funds to 3 organizations: Issaquah Community Services and St. Vincent de Paul, being those local organizations who provide rental assistance. And then we also allocated money to the YWCA, Issaquah Hamlet Village, as a direct allocation, since they were identified as the housing provider that had most households with overdue rent. It was just an easier allocation. So that was approved by city council. We just finalized the contracts and we are executing the contracts for those, and the organizations have already started distributing those funds. So that's that. Also, just this past a couple of days ago, city council approved the new board and commission appointments. And so then, as we were just talking, we will have quite a few new commissioners starting next month. We are excited for you to meet them. We'll talk some more about that at the end of the agenda, about plans and whatnot for next month. And then also, regarding city council, there's going to be upcoming next Monday on the city council's agenda at the committee of the whole. There's going to be a pretty extensive conversation on affordable housing in general, on the continuum of affordable housing. And at that time, in terms of human services, we are going to provide city council with an update on the Motel 6 project, and we are going to ask for approval and support and discuss with city council some recommendations on how to adjust that program a little bit. And also we are going to provide some updates and begin a conversation on behavioral health coordinators and staffing. So we are excited about that, but that's more to come. So that's coming up on Monday on the committee of the whole. I think that concludes all human services related to
Bless
Bless
you.
city council update. So now back to Hannah on other services related.
Perfect. So I included here, as we are approaching May 1st, which many of you may know is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The city of Issaquah, about almost a quarter of our population are Asian. And we want to be able to honor and celebrate this Heritage Month. And we want to also call out this discrimination that we've seen in our community and provide education to our community. We are having conversation with community members of what's the best way to go about it. We want to have a part of our human services strategic plan, part of our goal in human services is to be able to have these cultural conversations. These cultural conversations are really intended to educate our community, to learn more about different cultures and backgrounds, and also to honor and celebrate the diversity of people. And so we want to invite, we want to be led by our community in this. We don't want to just come to people and say, this is how we're celebrating, or this is what we're doing. We want to know from these community members what's the best way to honor this heritage. And so you'll see here, I didn't include much information because we're still in the mix of trying to figure out those details of how to honor that and to move forward with the month of May. So more information will be put on our website, which includes just kind of a background history of API Heritage Month and resources as well to learn more, to understand better about and then more events, local events that you can get involved in. So some more to come for sure, but I just wanted to call that out as I think May's gonna be here any minute.
That's true.
Yeah.
And with that, thank you so much, Hannah. With that, commissioners, if you know of small community groups or members in our community who are of Asian background, heritage, or Pacific Islander heritage that we could connect with, we would love to connect with more for sure. I know that we are connecting with the human service organizations and with some business owners. We had some meetings today, and we are working and collaborating with the senior center, who's also supporting some groups. But we always want to connect with more and more people and better understand how to best support a pretty large community. We heard a lot of great feedback for us as a city to think about. On one end, the Asian community itself and the Pacific Islander community are huge communities, and there are large differences between those cultures. So celebrating or honoring just one does not bring, it's not fair, but at the same time, not honoring also it's not the answer. So we heard some great feedback, and I think the community is interested in investing and doing bigger and larger celebrations that go over several days. And we at the city at this point, I don't think that we are there in terms of at least,
So were you thinking more like a welcome week type
that's
thing
what we
where?
heard. People would be interested in that. I don't think that we have the time, resources, and capacity to do that this year, being so close. We were thinking about one event, but we keep on hearing feedback that we should, if we could do it, we should be doing it really well.
Right.
And I think we would like to set us up for future to do it and do a better job. I think as a city, we came a long ways in the last couple of years, but we also have a long ways to go and how to best.
What did we do last year?
I believe we did a proclamation and provided resources. We didn't have an event 2 years ago. We had an event where we invited someone, especially it was right during the time when there was a lot of hate and bias against the Asian community members. So we invited someone from King County Coalition Against Hate and Bias, and we did an educational event on how to best support and what can community members do that. But that's the extent of what we did for Asian Islander Heritage Month. Yes, that was virtual. It was still the time when we couldn't meet in person.
Yeah.
So this year we are considering an in-person event, but again, we want to do it in a meaningful way. Much respect. Love to hear.
Yeah. Any connections or any feedback or any
And actually, so definitely, I think the mayor is interested in doing the proclamation. But even today, we heard the feedback that perhaps we should have two proclamations since the community is so large. Perhaps we should have one focused on the Asian population and one for Pacific Islander.
That's right.
So they don't just get mixed in one since there's just very, very few community members identify as Asian Pacific Islander.
Right, yeah.
So yes, you're gonna work with the mayor's office. Resources and that.
Is this something when, I know maybe not for this year, but subsequent years, open up for volunteer help?
It's exactly. Almost like a subcommittee, or I don't know if that's allowed within the structure of.
No, exactly. That could certainly be that's a possibility. And I know And just for the equity board has been involved in some of that. I know that we have a subcommittee who's working on Pride Month and another one in June for Asian Pacific Islander Month that they don't have. And that's why even you as a Human Services Commission. Yeah, so. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so that is my report.
Okay, so up next is the chair report. And I think I mentioned you, and I guess that's me. I don't mention to you, when all of a sudden Monica snuck this into our agenda a few months ago, that I just wanted to make this time an opportunity for anybody, all of us, to talk about anything human services related that's not necessarily on the agenda that you want to bring up. So does anybody want to talk about anything? I mean, is there something that they saw on another community, or something they read about?
The thought that I have, they're coming here, spring, and I see people walking around, and I realize for the past 2 or 3 years, sense of back into the community and making a mental note that I need to do more walking around, meeting people, talking with people this spring. Getting to know our community again.
Again.
You know?
I think you should wear
I
your
think it's
badge.
wonderful after this.
Wear your badge.
Manny's excited
Yeah,
about
you
that.
you can say this is official business.
Yes.
At the library with the kids.
Trish, I was just gonna comment that I really enjoyed the opportunity to have the meeting with the diversity, the DEI commission. And it just it really had me thinking about how often our conversations and what we're trying to achieve overlap.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's additional opportunities to work more closely with them. But for me, I just thought the conversation was interesting and it just seemed like we were very aligned on different things. So I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was a great meeting. And for those that weren't able to come, and you were beaming in, it was, where were you? Where were you in the world?
In Florida,
When it was March, right?
Right.
February,
No, it was
March 15th.
March 15th.
March 15th. I was in Togo.
And it was like 2 in the morning or something?
I was still very jet lagged, so.
Oh, God, oh my
It was easy to
goodness.
stay awake.
That's, I'm impressed.
Yeah, yeah. I felt the same way that you did. I thought it was a great meeting. And I think, you know, the more that we can do that, I would really look forward to those opportunities.
Yes, we'll definitely look for those opportunities. I think so too. I'm so glad to hear that you enjoyed it. We'll try to bring the two boards together because yes, there are so many, there's overlap for sure.
And I think that, that I could board that, them talking with, and having those type of combined meetings with Mark, right, different ones also. Would expand that whole thought process of, equity and community and, this commission throughout the whole.
Oh, great ideas. Because right now, different other departments start bringing items to the equity board, but yes, like you said, it came up, like, why not the equity board going and visiting other boards and commissions and trying to instill those equity principles, right?
Exactly.
And so are they doing that?
Not yet at this time. Still, we have just even more so. We have different departments coming to the equity board with their items. But I think that's something that we should discuss on how to best influence. Right now, I think the equity board is just getting really busy with different departments coming with different topics, big items to the.
And then my other question was, Madam Chair, about, it has a conversation around, so Tisha came and talked to us about the virtual meeting attendance policy, and there was, I felt terrible for her because I felt like by the time she was done with her original document, it was all just. But I was just curious, was that conversation finalized?
I'm so glad you brought it up. Actually, they were gonna come back. I was gonna bring this up at under other business, later this evening. But Tisha and Mayor Polly plan to come, I believe next month to you as a commission to talk a little bit more about that.
Okay,
So
thank you.
more to come next month.
That's great. Thanks for the update.
I believe they were actually hoping to come this month, but I think Mayor Polly had something else on their calendar, so. it didn't work out.
Are they gonna go to all commission and board meetings to talk about?
I'm not sure, actually. I know that they were planning to come to the equity board as well, but I don't know about others. We can ask.
I was on the other side, this is Jaime, I was on the other side, I appreciate the Issaquah transit study.
Yeah.
I would,
Yes.
I would go for being involved in other commission departments. I think the goal is to always be an equity board, we can be an equity board. So that's the way I was looking at it, it's like, it's good to have 2, 3 folks or groups coming in. And
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more where other factors, this impacts too, like this information trickles down to our communities, how we,
It really does.
the 2044, and I think they had 3 sessions to hear where folks are at, and I appreciate that information as well.
Yeah.
I think it seems like there's an organic growth and collaboration between the equity board and the Human Services Commission, and we'd love to see that continue and see where that takes us. For sure.
What about you, Kristen? I haven't heard much from you today.
Yeah, but I think it would be good to the equity board to come here instead of that. Not going to the whole location. But also because yeah, a lot of things also trickle down to like equity and making sure everything's like equal with it.
Okay, well, we will move on to Preston's report.
Yeah, so I've been gone for a couple of months, so we've had 3 events with the youth advisory board hosting. So the first one was our State of Mind event. So this was an in-person event that we held at the community center, and we had multiple speakers come in talking about different topics, like I think it was had one on drug abuse, and then we had one on mindfulness, and then one I can't remember the other one. I think it was on anxiety and depression. So we had speakers come in, and then the public was there. We invited the public so they could all like listen to the speakers. And then our second event was Harry Potter night. This one was just for younger elementary school kids, just a community bonding event. And then our third one was an online event, which was a sustainability event, similar to State of Mind. We had multiple different speakers and organizations come and talk about things like deforestation and climate change. And yeah, and then what we're planning next is we're planning an environmental workshop. So that'll be for elementary and middle school kids, where they can help learn about like sustainability and how to make sustainable decisions. And then the biggest event of the IAM year, which is the Issaquah Triathlon, which will be in June, where we invite all the kids in the Issaquah area to do triathlon.
What day? You know what day in June?
I want to say it's either the 10th or 11th, but I don't think so.
And then you said you're doing an environmental event too? Is that around Earth Day, around the time of Earth Day? Okay, very nice.
Thank you, Preston.
Thank you.
Any questions for Preston?
Great work. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you manage all your schedule with the youth advisory, the events, the Human Services Commission, school? Wow.
I work.
Well, you do a wonderful job, and it's so nice to have you on the commission.
Yeah, we're very thankful to have your voice here, so thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Hannah, other business announcements.
Yes, so, I really wanted to end our meeting with, just some updates with our new terms and some, commissioners transitioning in, some commissioners transitioning out. So, we have Pat here, I would love to, before we have a nice farewell and share our love and all that to you, I wanna, just provide a quick update. So, on Monday, our council, approved, our recommendations for moving forward with our new Human Services Commission. So we have 4 vacant positions. Oh, gosh. Yeah, a lot. So, I'm excited that we filled them all. So, we have transitioned, Maury and Madeline were in an alternate position. We have transitioned them to regular positions.
Oh,
Yeah.
now you'll carpool with me, right? Come on, man.
Now you're a real commissioner.
I will tell, it's really not much difference here. Everybody is very important.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the Sharpie?
Good shot. And then, Jaime's, term did end this year, so he reapplied, so he's joining us for another 4 years. So very excited for that. And then we have, some wonderful new commissioners joining us again I'm very excited for you to meet them. They are very passionate about human services, very excited about the work that is to be done with this. And, again, they're going to be a great additions. So it sounds like there's going to be a couple of commissioners who will be absent in May. That's going to be their first meeting. I know. So, so part of that, we are going to be doing orientation with them one-on-one, so they'll kind of get up to speed. But it will change a little bit of the dynamic up. We'll have some more time to welcome them in, do some introductions, things like that. So just keep that in mind for our next commission. So any questions about new terms or transitioning?
Congratulations.
Yeah, so Pat, when's your last?
Today, well, today or next month.
But we're gonna see, yes, and we're gonna do these site visits together.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm out of the table, but I'm still.
Okay.
Aw.
Yes.
You're a leg, yeah.
Yeah.
Table leg.
And I'm making sure I got your cell.
And with that, though, very sad transition to see Pat for sure transitioning out. But with that, Pat served as the vice chair for this past year. Trish served as the chair. Officially, the terms, chair and vice chair position are 1-year term positions. So May is also the time when new commissioners will select a new chair and vice chair. So start thinking about that and come in May prepared, or before that, let us know if you're interested in volunteering and serving as a chair, vice chair, or if you're interested in nominating someone or nominating yourself. We would love to hear from you.
I'll make sure that.
We're gonna have quite a few
We
nominations.
live in the same neighborhood.
Preston, I think Minnie and Madeline need some sustainability tips.
Can I nominate myself for the chair?
Yeah, and I will just state with chair and vice chair, you can see the part of the roles are kind of, Trisha's done an amazing job this year, keeping the meetings momentum going, keeping us on topic. So that is a big role of that. Also, there's a little bit of extra time commitment. We like to just do like a quick 30-minute or so meeting the week before, just to kind of check in about the agenda items. So very minimal time, extra time commitment, but just want to note that as typically kind of the work of the chair and vice chair. So yeah. Okay. So we will continue conversations.
Not to, off your schedule, but, I know when I was on the Arts Commission, we sometimes did the elections in June, because May, of course, you bring on your new members. And so at least they've had one meeting to kind of settle in, and then we've
Done that before.
so we voted in June. So I don't know if that's something you wanna.
Yeah, I think that's an option. I don't see why not, especially if there are other board members, commissioners, traveling in May or whatnot, absolutely, I think that is an option.
Yeah. That might be good.
Well, what do you guys think?
And May is that the month where we all come, and for me, for instance, after May, I'm not coming back, right? But May is the transition period, so it makes sense for the new ones to just get a plan for the next month.
And that'd be a pretty cool agenda, I think.
Yeah, and because I think we actually asked all the commissioners to vote. And so we've got all these, we've got these new commissioners that don't even know, they're still, deer in headlights sort of thing.
Yes, the commission is not, you don't have big items to vote on in May as city council would have, so I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that if you choose so, commissioners. They can certainly check in if it works, but it sounds like there's already a precedent with the Arts Commission.
So I look forward to talking to you all, for many of you who are interested in those positions, and,
So should people get in touch with you ahead of time? Or,
yes,
okay.
or I will find you.
Okay, so drop, Monica and Hannah a line if you guys are interested.
Okay.
What about you? Are you still interested?
Pardon?
Are you still interested or?
Well, equity, okay? We have to give everybody opportunity. So, and it's a highly coveted position.
We usually have to convince somebody.
I mean,
That was good. That was
very
good.
hierarchical. I can even say it here,
Well, awesome. Well, so that's it for my new term. So I just want to take a few moments here. Pat is our commissioner who is transitioning out. And so I just want to take some time to just,
Thank you.
first and foremost, say thank you. We know this is a volunteer commission board member or commission, and you have just given so much time, so much passion, so much wisdom to this board. You've been a part of some major projects. So we really just appreciate your feedback on, think about it, you were part of the strategic plan, working through that, through the human services grants funding cycle. So you did some major things for this city. So really just want to give you an applaud and say thank you for your service. And you are a huge part of this commission forever and ever. And you'll always be in our hearts.
Thank you so much. I really learned so much starting the APP thing. That it's been a wonderful ride. It's been a pleasure to support the community. I love wanting to stay, but it's like you said, you can check it out. And then most importantly, with the travel thing you're getting now that the one thing we covered is I stayed here for 2 years without going anywhere, but now for all the offers we have to go. And but as to the community, we're going to see me. This is the even from sites on the other sides. It's been wonderful pleasure working with you. Thanks for your patience, for teaching, for great conversation.
Thank you so much. Seriously, the sacrifices, the 1 a.m. joining
Oh
from
my God.
one country or the other across the board, or 4 a.m. or those are big sacrifices for a volunteer commissioner. So
That was a
thank you.
long meeting.
Yes.
Any other words or?
Well, I'm just so glad that we're gonna see you on site visits. Yeah, you don't have to say goodbye.
I'm looking for another place where I'm going to support occasionally.
Yeah.
So some of the sites.
Well, we've got your name written down for some of these.
We need a number, we know where to find you.
And if you're interested in participating in a subcommittee or organization, like planning group for agricultural conversations and events, please, would love to.
You have your email.
Let's go, let's go.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, Trish, yeah.
Okay, well, I think we can conclude this meeting. You can stop the recording.
Well,
Yes.
hello.